Yeah, people have so many gifts to share, and they become paralyzed with them. Can anyone relate? You guys have gifts and you're too paralyzed to share your gifts. I find that unfortunate, and so she has so much wisdom, and people just get blocked in life, right? And it's like, just take the step, just do it, you know. And she did it, and she created these amazing online courses, amazing, that can help people, that can help so many people. And it just sometimes takes a little bit of encouragement. And that's why I think everyone needs a coach. I'm super big on that. And also support from our guides. I was talking a lot about our guides and our angels and our ancestors, and they're all there to support us, and we just need help sometimes, and we need a little bit of a kick to get started. and and so this is a really fun topic. You know, I had one business coach, like a really big business coach, and he chose to come to one of my wellness retreats where I offer coaching. And I was a bit intimidated. It's like, well, out of all the coaches, all the amazing coaches, why would you come to my retreat and want coaching from me? He said, well, I'm taking this leadership course right now that talks about the highest level of leadership mastery is intuition, you know, being an intuitive leader. And he goes, well, you've mastered that, so I need to learn from you. And I was like, wow, really taken aback by that. And so in my coaching, you know, it's like sometimes I only have 1 week with these people, so I'm very intense. I always ask permission. Do you want level 1 coaching, which is like, I'll be your biggest supporter, or do you want level 10 coaching where you're gonna cry? And I always ask permission, and people are like, usually people, like everyone says, I want level 10. I'm like, well, are you sure? Like, really? Are you really sure you want level 10? And people are like, yes, because they don't think I'm going to make them cry. But after just a few days of spending with someone, you see their core wounds, and you see their, not even their triggers, but I see it. It's very obvious for me to see exactly what someone needs to work on. And that's why we need coaches, because when we're living our life, we don't have people to reflect back on us, like the shadows, the parts of ourselves that we don't see. So we all need help sometimes. And for me, I'm just this objective person who really don't know these people, and I come in and I get a glimpse of their life for a week, and I really ask really those profound questions that maybe they don't want to answer, or no one has ever asked them before, or whatever. But anyways, so he came in with some questions, and he wanted to grow his business, launch his company, da da da. And I was like, okay, we'll just do it. You know, go. Next, let's work on to the next topic. Like, we have a bunch of other things that we can work on. And he kind of giggled. He's like, well, no, this is something I've been working on with a therapist for 7 years. And I'm not a therapist, you know, I'm just a empowerment coach, you know? So I'm just like, okay, we could talk another 7 years about this issue, or you could just take the inspired action and do it. And it was nothing big. It was like creating a video, or, you know, just putting yourself out there, which is terrifying. Like, I don't want to undermine that, but we need to take actions in life, right? And you know, we can all be paralyzed in fear. We can all be paralyzed in fear. And this is something I want to talk about today. Is, you know, destiny, fate. Where are we destined to go? What are we destined to do? So yeah, I want to open this up for the meditators that have joined. Please write in the chat box, like, what is your perception of destiny? What is your perception of fate? How does that, you know, how much, what's your perceptions before I go into my ideas and my definitions? And I'm really open to hearing what you guys think about this. So I'll wait for a few minutes. In the meantime, you're welcome to share where you're joining in from, if this is your first live with me, Every live is completely different. We open this up for any questions you may have, anything you want to talk about. Last week I promised we would talk about destiny and fate. But really, anything is open right now. Anything is open. Maybe later on, when there's more meditators on, we can talk about that. So right now, I can open this up to any topic that you guys want to talk about as well. Everything is welcome here. So I'll just wait for some questions. Maybe I'll there's no questions. Maybe I'll start by asking some yes or no questions. Do you guys believe in destiny? Do you believe there's a fate? We come with this fate. Just say yes or no. I don't see anyone writing. So unlike. Oh, you don't? Amazing, Sarah. Oh my God, I love this. What do you believe, Sarah? More about free will? This is another very interesting topic. I would love to know more, Sarah. What's your perceptions? We create our own reality. We create our own life. There's no wrong answers. It's just learning. It's just learning about what you guys think. Shauna says, learning a lot about that after suffering from severe burnout. Learning about what? What's that for you, Shauna? I'm open to, I just want to learn so much from what you guys think. Sarah says, we create our own life and we have guidance from a higher power. Amazing. Yes. So you wouldn't call that higher power. See, I call that higher power intuition. But what do you call this higher power? Sarah. And also, is destiny. Like destiny could be perceived and called a higher power as well. There's so many terms, we're kind of limited by language. For the new meditators that joined, we're talking about if you believe in destiny, if you believe in fate, what your beliefs are about that. Yeah, Shauna continues, learning about your future and what you thought it was going to be from where it is heading. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, our minds are interesting. Another talk I spoke about the logic and intuition, logic versus intuition. And I have so many ideas or plans of what I'm going to do. I have I'll do this. This is, A, plan B, plan C, for a summer or for a month off or whatever. It's those are my plans. And none of those even came close to coming to fruition. Something so random, so out there, so unexpected, impossible to plan came through. And really since I would say last year, it's just been more and more intense. I've gotten to a point, and this is where I'd love to know your perception too as well, Sarah. This has gotten to a point where yeah, Shauna's learning that your body is the boss and not your head. Yeah, we can be very humbled by our bodies, but also body's wisdom. A lot of people receive guidance through their gut feelings, right? We say it's a gut instinct, gut feeling. So it's many terms to the term of intuition. Yeah, universe is the higher power. Yeah, I'm very humbled by making plans. It's like, what's the whole saying? Like, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. It's like, oh gosh, I'm yeah, I've gotten to a point. I don't know, it's sped up since like last summer, I would say. I don't know for you guys, but for me in my life, it's like every plan I make, every single plan, it's just poo changed, or like completely opposite of what I envisioned for myself. So it's been very like, okay, like who so it's interesting though, because it's like, well, who am I? Who am I? And I love planning. I have goals, I have passions, but then I can't help but to go like, okay, okay, universe. I like talking with the universe. It encompasses everything. Okay, universe. Like, what do you want of me? Where do you want me to go? Because I think I know, but I clearly don't. I clearly don't. And so that's why, Sarah, I talk about this idea of like fate or destiny, because it's like there must be some mission for me, and I'm trying to go on this one track, but the universe is like, nope, you're going on that track. And so I can't help kind of at times to go, okay, like where am I destined to go? Who am I destined to meet? When I meet people, I'm very intuitive. I see people, and without knowing them, I know the soul connection I have with them. And it's beyond logic. And I was just listening to a video yesterday that was talking about that, because I judged that. It's like, what's wrong with me? Why do I approach people? Like, I should let people approach me. Why should I should be more in receptive mode and be more in my feminine, and like really hard on myself. And this video said, if you're really intuitive, if you're an empath, if you're highly sensitive, which I am all of those three, extremely in those three, it affirms like, appreciate your gifts of when you meet someone, the soul connection you have, if you've had a past life with them, you almost see your future timelines with them, your purpose with them. Like, it's a lot. But it's all done so fast and so quickly and intuitively for me. And what hurts me the most is the other people don't notice, or they don't recognize my soul. I'm just a random person to them. And it's very soul crushing for me. I'm still processing that, like soul connections where I recognize them and they didn't recognize me. And going like, okay, well, I think, there is a fate and destiny. We met for a reason. But everyone has free will. Everyone has free will. And a person can choose to continue a different path. That's like, oh, well, we met. We can be on this other path together. Friends, business partners, romantic partners, many different relationships. But everyone has a free will. And some people can say, no, I choose to stay on this timeline and continue on this path. And I refuse to be on that path. I don't want to be in that path. I want to be on a very high vibrational 5D path. So it's, have you guys ever experienced that? Have you ever kind of ran into a soul fate? I want to say fate or destiny. The universe brought you together and you recognized that soul, but that soul didn't recognize you. Has anyone experienced that before? I would love to know your opinions about that, because just yesterday I was listening to a video online about that, and it was really affirming of like, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. That this is a gift you have. This is a gift you have, and accept this gift that you intuitively see the connection much more easily than other people can. So I don't know if anyone's experienced that. Do you guys ever experience that? I would love to hear your stories, because we're all people who are drawn especially to listening to Insight Timer and to listening to these lives. You guys all have a deep level of connection to your intuition already. And so I would love to hear about this. This is a time for sharing. I don't want to just speak and share only my perceptions. I want to hear your guys's. So anyone who's just joined, we're talking about this concept of like fate and destiny, and what do you believe? What do you believe in regarding fate or destiny? So I'll wait for some messages. I'll give you the definition of destiny. So the Oxford Language Dictionary says, destiny is the hidden power believed to control what will happen in the future. So synonyms are fate, fate. So a hidden power. Do you guys believe you come to Earth with a destiny? Are you destined to meet some people? Are you destined to, what's your perception? I just would love to know. I love for you guys to write in the comments. And also your perception of free will. Your perception of free will. This is one thing that I really strongly believe. We all have free will. Just this morning I was writing about, maybe I'll write it out. I'll read it out to you guys. This is a excerpt from my book. The idea, I want to bring this up. The idea of, I was writing all about timing, right? Timing can feel quite destined, right? Divine timing, we also talk about. And what I was writing about in my book is the parallel universe theory. So I'll read this out. It says, it's a hypothesis in physics and philosophy suggesting that our universe may be one of many universes. So the concept of parallel universe theory basically states that every time you make a decision, there are multiple alternate universes created within the multiverse that correspond to all of the different possible outcomes of your decision. So this idea of like infinite universes and infinite timelines. We're going and we make a decision, boom, changes to a different timeline. Another person, boom, chooses a different decision. They're on another timeline. It's so complex for my brain to wrap around this idea of these universes. And then there's also the concept of jumping timelines, right? Have you guys ever heard of jumping timelines? So, it's talked a lot about, it's this idea that refers to we can consciously shift our experience of reality by aligning ourselves with a different timeline or reality. So in the context of spirituality, a timeline is a path of reality that a person is experiencing. So each decision we make, each thought we have, and each action we take can potentially create a new timeline. So quantum physics suggests the existence of an infinite number of parallel universes, each representing a different possible outcome of our choices. In this context, jumping timelines could be seen as shifting from one parallel universe to another. And they're saying, we can simply do this by intention. Intention, being mindful So what are your guys' perceptions of that? Yeah, those are two huge philosophical questions. I know. No one was putting anything in the chat, Meg, so I just threw everything down. So anyone new who's joining, now we're on to parallel universes, jumping timelines, destiny, fate, free will. We're talking about it all today. And I would just love to hear your guys' perceptions. This is a time where people from all over come together and share. And have you guys heard about these concepts before? It's so complex in my brain, these topics, so complex, like just the infinite. It becomes like, paralysis by analysis. There's sometimes in my life when I have so much freedom, which in this lifetime I'm very blessed to have. I've created a life with extreme amounts of freedom. Like this afternoon, I could drive to the airport and fly anywhere in the world. And that level of freedom can be actually paralyzing, because there's so many infinite choices in this moment. It's just, it can be paralyzing. So what do? I have no choice to get out of my head, because I could be in my head and creating thousands of different possibilities in this moment. So what do? I'm drawn more and more and more to tap back into my intuition. Shauna was talking about learning to listen to your body. The body has a lot of wisdom, and the body is guiding you. Sometimes you want to go somewhere and your body will literally stop you. I was just volunteering this weekend at a Vipassana meditation retreat. It's only run by volunteers, and I love to go as much as I can. There's this woman there who's been there for 4 years, a young woman, really young woman. She kind of just volunteers there for a few months a year and then takes a few months off. And I said, wow, like that's pretty dedicated, like to dedicate half your life to half your year to volunteering at the center. She goes, I had no choice. She's like, her free will created a goal for her in mind where she was like, I'm going to go, I don't know, work in the army or something like that. She was like, I'm working in the army. I'm going to have really good benefits. So logically, her brain was, I'm going to have great benefits. I'm going to, have great education, like good salary, all of the things. And then her body became so ill that she had this chronic pain. And she went to many doctors and no one could prescribe anything or kind of discover what she had. She was in such chronic pain. She physically could not continue that. She had to alter timelines and alter her path. So it's like, wow, our bodies, I think, are there to really help us, guide us as well. Do you guys believe in this? And so now she's gone, she knew that it was not really physical. It was really psychosomatic, and she really needed to purify some things. In Vipassana, we talk about sankharas, kind of all of these past impressions and past that needs to come up and out to be purified. All the addictions and pains and all the things in our brains that are looping, when we go meditate for 11 hours a day, just even a couple of minutes a day, you'll see how crazy the mind is and how busy the mind is. And she just started to purify, and the pain is gone. She just cured her pain, which is pretty powerful. So it's like, oh, I get it. It's like, yeah, we have goals. I get it. And I think we're really guided. Sometimes I don't want chronic pain in my life. I don't want a very fatal illness. I don't want a huge accident. I want to learn in the most gentle, sweet way possible. So this is why I in my life choose to listen to my intuition in the many various ways. It can come through my dream world. And usually when I'm very resistant to things in my life, especially like moving to different places or being with people, in romantic relationships, dreams come to me because I'm very stubborn. And so I think my subconscious or the divine, they know that. So they send me very profound messages when my conscious mind is off and I'm more receptive. But then in the waking world, and when I'm conscious and maybe in the forest walking and aware and awake, I'll really receive my messages through more clear audience by hearing a divine message. So it's important to know how to receive. You know, I have this premium course. You guys can, any premium members, you can listen to. It's a 12-day course, and there's one day that talks about like how to decipher and how to determine how you receive intuition, because that builds confidence. Once you know, you're able to be very confident of your, you know, intuitive mind versus your egoic mind or the logical mind as well. So yeah, so I don't know if I explained that well, but Danny, I'll read what you say. It can be paralyzing and at the same time so very freeing. I often underestimate my potential and ability as an adult. I know, it's fun to be an adult. I can do whatever I want. There are consequences to those choices, both good and bad, but sometimes it gives me a sense of power over my own universe. Exactly. Well, that's another word for karma. That's how I define karma. Karma is being 100% responsible for your reality. It's a law. It's a law of the universe, cause and effect. Whatever we do, we'll receive the effects of, and it's not a punishment. There's nothing negative. There's good karma and there's bad. There's no judgment. It's just about helping us learn how to be 100% responsible for our lives, which is, I think, really important, because more and more as a collective, we have this victim mentality. Can you guys relate? Poor me, look at my circumstances, look at, when I go and I see people, I run into people and, oh, wow, JD, like, you're so lucky to go travel. Yes, yes, I'm very lucky. The life that most of us live, probably you guys who have a computer, have internet, are online right now like this, we are living better than the kings and queens in the past. The kings and the queens did not live even close to the level of lifestyle that we are living right now. So, now people are writing. I'm gonna read what you guys write for sure. So yes, we're lucky. Yes, I'm very lucky. And I like to remind people, well, these are the choices that I've made in this lifetime, right? I've chosen to not have children. I've chosen to become an entrepreneur, which every day creates anxiety and stress. Every day I have to trust the universe. Like, I put in effort, but like, how am I going to be provided for, universe? It's I want people to take responsibility for their life as well and their choices. And every second we have a choice. Every second. And it's fun what Danny was saying of like, oh, right, I can be an adult. I love that. Sometimes I remember that. Oh, right, I can like have a piece of cake for supper because no, I'm not a child anymore and no one's telling me that I can't. Do you know when you realize that? Like, oh, right, I can make pancakes for supper. I can have popcorn for supper. I get those a lot at supper time where I'm like, oh, right, I'm an adult and I can make my own choices. And if I choose to have cake, it's great, but I also will face the instant consequences of my body not feeling good, right? Which there's no judgment in this. Again, it's just choices. I really want to read what you guys are writing now. Yeah. Yeah. Lilith, I don't know what any of these abbreviations are. You have to spell everything out for me super clear. Yeah, Danny was like, the cake example was what I was thinking too. It's a great one. I know. I normally don't say that. Maybe I was tapping into your energy. Yeah, I don't eat cake for supper, but when I did, it was like, oh right, I'm a adult. And yeah, hello Ken, it's so nice to see you again as well. Yeah, Meg, I'm not saying that all these topics don't overlap, but I think it's important to clarify a bit what we're talking about. We started with philosophy, then we went to physics, then philosophy, then the divine, and now Buddhism. That's the karma we're referring to. Oh, yes, Meg. When you join into these lives, we talk about many, many, many different threads in 1 hour. We go where it's just open. It's like I open this portal for an hour, and whoever wants to join in and whatever stories and messages come through. There's and this time I created a bit of a theme because I promised that last week, but no one was talking about that theme. So then I switched, diverged into different topics to spark some conversation. But I am still very interested in the theme today, which I really want to talk about, which is what's your belief systems about destiny and fate? I really do want to learn that. So Meg, if you have any perceptions of that, yes, I would love to hear that. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yes, we should not. Yes, Meg, we should definitely not water down some scientific concepts like the multi-universe theory. I know. I 100% agree with you, Meg. It's so beyond me, and that's why I just like, oh, threw that. I just kind of threw that there and go, hey, anyone have any ideas or want to talk about that? That's something every live I talk about what's alive for me. And just this morning, I was researching that and writing about it. So this is just kind of like, oh, this concept that I just thought of this morning, well, not just thought of, but really kind of tapped into and became interested more this morning. But this was not my plan even last week to talk about for sure. Yeah, I'm not a scientist, and this is way beyond my knowledge for sure. So Shauna says, yeah. Shauna says, I love this. Wow, that story resonates. I wasn't physically able to continue working, but my mind was totally resisting. Now that I'm not working, I am learning to use my intuition for what I need for the day. Definitely a work in progress as I custom my job dictating my days. Yeah. Well, a lot of people accustom everything to dictating their days, right? A lot of people, they wake up, again, I'm overgeneralizing, but they wake up and they check their phones. And so outside people are dictating their day immediately. Or they may go on social media and look for some connection or validation, and immediately your day is kind of taken off of maybe an intentional time that you could have. So I'm really big in creating intentions for the night and morning. Like I turn off my phone at night, and I turn on my phone like during work hours, like 9 a.m. Because I have to. But those hours in the morning are so precious for me to start my day because I want to live in an intentional life. And if my day is so busy or inundated with outside things, emails or messages, I don't really have a chance to connect with myself. I was just, again, as I mentioned, I was volunteering this weekend, and I was speaking with people who do these 30-day silent retreats. Can you imagine sitting in silence for 30 days, like noble silence? You don't make eye contact. You are in your own bubble. And it's amazing. It's like, wow, the level of depth that they get to, where they get to go deep within and purify things that need to come up. But then after, they come home and they inundate themselves with internet and movies and TV and news, which is extremely negative. And it's like, oh, you spent all this time purifying your mind and letting all of this go, and then you come back to the real world and you create those habit patterns again of just being inundated, your brain being like inundated with information but negative sources that kind of, if I turn on, like, I haven't watched TV for decades, but if I turn on the news, I will have like instant anxiety, instant. I have a belief system, I will receive the information necessary. And I do. Literally, sometimes people call me and tell me about things or programs or before it even comes out on the news. And so I really do trust. I will receive the information, when I need to. And I really got to practice that on my trip, this last trip, because I consciously don't have a plan on my phone. So I only use Wi-Fi. So only in select moments, I'll turn on my Wi-Fi to receive information. But like when my Wi-Fi is not on or I don't have my phone on, I'll run into people, get the message I need. I'll see a poster, I'll ask a question, I'll see a poster, I'll go to one restaurant and then they're like, sorry, you should go to that restaurant, and I go to that restaurant and then I meet a friend. Like, it's just so fun when I just trust the universe will provide me the information that I need, Yeah. Yeah. And so Danny was saying, doing my morning routine before I touch my phone has been life-changing. Affirmations, prayer, stretching helps me start my day. And usually my best ideas come during that time. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Creativity, right? Yeah. Yeah. So Jenny, I would love for you guys to hear your guys' perception, yeah. Most people in the world are facing extreme conditions and living under conflict. Yeah, exactly. So this is, again, this is an hour where we talk about many tangents. Whatever people bring up is what we're going to talk about. So when you guys talk about how you're born, coming into the different countries, different races, different religions, what is this? What does this mean to you? Exactly. So, Lilith says, most people on this planet actually do not have the level of privilege to experience karma in the way you're talking about. It's a very privileged perspective to say that we are all responsible for our karma. That's not true for everyone. Great. I would love to hear more. So people aren't responsible for their karma. What are they responsible for? Yeah. But how about everyone experiencing genocide? Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has a different perspective about this. What are your guys' perspective? All the meditators here from around the world. I have my own ideas, but my ideas aren't truth. My ideas are just my perceptions. Yeah. Yeah, you're asking great questions. You know how they can't be responsible for being persecuted in mass. How can that make sense? Yeah. Karma's a whole other topic, right? Yeah. Or not having their basic needs met. Yeah. So do you think they're all getting what they deserve? No, I never said that. No, I never said that. No. No, there's no life that deserves suffering. There's no life that deserves suffering. Right? But you're asking, so what do you believe? I'm open to all of your guys' belief systems. I want to hear what everyone here believes. For me, I believe a lot in past lives. So when I travel a lot. And I believe, this is just my one belief. There's many people here. They all have different beliefs. My one belief is I've experienced genocide. I've experienced, I'm fascinated by jail in this lifetime. I'm sure I've been to jail, and probably many lifetimes for what I've done. And in this lifetime, I'm very, very grateful that I'm not going to jail, and I'm trying to live a different life in this life, So I really come from the belief system of past lives. Yeah, that's a big belief that I have. Yeah. So I'd love to know other people's perceptions of this. What do you guys perceive? Do you guys believe? Now we're on to a whole other topic here, a very big topic of genocide, which I was not expecting to talk about today. But what's your guys' perception? Why are some people born in some countries and other people are born in different countries? Why are some people born in really loving and caring families, and others it's full of the opposite? It's why? What's your belief system, Lilith? I would love to know. Or anyone who else has joined in. Jenny, what's your perception? So people who are born and they don't have their basic needs, they're living off of $1 a day. Why do you think these souls are experiencing that? I don't have the answer. Yeah. I know, it's a great question. It's a big question. A lot of people completely disregard higher knowledge and the higher awareness because they're it just creates suffering. People are just suffering, and I come from going to Vipassana for 14 years. This is where I'm going. I don't know if you've experienced Vipassana meditation. And it's this idea that there's so much suffering in the world. Even people who can feed themselves, there's people who have lots of privilege and lots of money, and they're still in deep, deep, deep agony and suffering. And there's these techniques that get you out of the suffering. I lived a very comfortable life, but I was living very miserably. I was angry all the time, very angry and miserable, even though the outer world of my life was very good. And then through meditation, I got out of that spiral of anger and revenge. And now this is a meditation technique that talks all about compassion. Having compassion. There's so much suffering. And yeah. You guys are asking me specific questions. I'm asking you guys specific questions. I want to know what you guys think. I'm just here asking the questions, bringing up the topics. But everyone's perception is important. So BJ, nice to see you again. You say, good morning, JD. I think it's important for Lalit to understand the purpose of karma. The purpose of karma is not justification or suffering. Just a sec. I have to. When you guys type, I can't see the chat. So just a sec. I have to find the chat now. Oh gosh. I keep trying to find the chat. The purpose of karma is not justification or suffering bestowed on others or self. Just a sec here. I have to find the self-inflicted. The purpose of karma is to learn, and through learning, live a life that mitigates suffering and live for service of others, humans or not. Yeah. So Danny says, well, we can still be affected by others' choices. It might not mean they deserve what they get, but if we are all coexist on this planet, we all affect each other. Yeah. Yes, and so Lilith says, yes, I understand that, PJ. That's why I try to believe. That's what I try to believe. But there are also many who speak to karma as the balancing of right and wrong from others' lives. So it's difficult to just tune out that completely. Yeah, Danny says, I love what PJ said. We are not defined by what happened to us, but how we respond. Yeah, and so Meg says, but you're asking, why are people born in certain areas of the world? Or what is the specific thing you want our opinion on? Yeah, well, there's genocides in the world, right? In different parts of the world. I was born in an extremely safe part of the world, Meg. Like, why? Why did my soul choose a really nice family and a really safe part of the world? Whereas other souls, I believe in souls, why some souls choose like war-torn countries or countries where you are starving. I believe that. You guys are asking my belief systems. My real belief systems is your soul chooses before you come to Earth. That's my real belief. As what PJ was starting to learn. We all have these karmic lessons to learn. And I feel like I've had countless lifetimes, and I've had countless lifetimes that have been in genocide. And this lifetime, I'm very grateful I'm not. And how can I be of service in this lifetime? How can I... I've probably done many bad things in past lifetimes. And how can I be the best version of myself in this lifetime? I can't, it's pointless to sit it's pointless to sit and try and know what I did in my past lives, because that's not going to help me. Or, I could sit and I could watch news all day. It's a choice. We all have choices in life, right? We're talking about choices. I could choose to turn this off right now, not talk to you guys, and go watch news all day and cry and sit in a corner and just disconnect from the reality because there's so much trauma and suffering in the world. That's one choice. That's one option I can make today, right? And it's easy. Because that would be like, okay, or I could be like, okay, how can I serve? How can I serve today? Is there anything I can do? I'm not working. This is volunteer. I should be working. And I still have, my responsibilities in life that I really need to do. I really should be working. But for me, this is more important to bring people together and go, let's talk about some things. Today I was talking about, my idea was one thing. Again, I had an idea, a plan for one topic, and the universe brought me in a completely different. Now we're talking about karma and time, quantum time jumping. So again, it's like, okay, why do I even plan anything in my life? I don't even want to put a theme. I just want to show up and go, who wants to come and talk about something? Who wants to be here and share? How can we come and support one another? And I do want to encourage responsibility, and compassion. There's a big message I have, that's really big for us too, for me as well. There's so many people writing now. I'll try and I want to read through all of this. Oh my gosh, we only have 5 minutes left. Yeah, it's really how we respond. Yeah. Crystal, there's a part of me that believes we choose the life we are going to experience before we come here to learn the lesson, but it's hard to believe that anyone want to choose deep suffering from genocide. However, we can experience trauma. However, how we experience trauma can feel the same for two different people, even if we perceive one is worse than the other. Yeah. Shauna says, that's a good point. Privileged people can also be miserable and feel suffering. We are all humans. Yeah, it's a collective, yeah. You know, I'm sorry, I've traveled a lot and I go to countries that have nothing and they are very blissed out people. And they are much happier than a lot of my friends and Westerners who are trapped in materialism and trapped in ego and trapped in addictions, and it's miserable. They live a very miserable life. So it's like this idea of good or bad, you know? We are very in our human self. That's good, that's bad, but it's like, I don't know, in a lot of my travels, you know, or we have this idea. I just finished this book about karma. The book is called Karma by Sadhguru. And we have this idea, we have to help homeless people. We have to help hopeless, and we have to give the people home, you know. But really what we're doing is we're taking away their hope. And hope, every day they wake up and they have this is from the book, not me. They come with this hope every day of living a better life. But then there's other people who have everything they want. You know, have you ever met anyone like a billionaire or multimillionaires or who inherit money that they didn't earn? They're miserable people. What do they do all day? They go online, they play video games. I'm not saying all of them. But you've heard these stories. They drink alcohol. They're miserable people. Miserable. So I want you guys to get out of this judgment of like, good, bad, you know. There are stories of genocides. We're talking about genocides where people reached enlightenment, meet people in jail. I watch movies, read books. I'm always reading where people in jail learn meditation technique. They come out of suffering. They have only pure love and compassion in their hearts. And we're on the outside of jail. We're not physically in jail. And we're living in a hell. We create hell for ourselves. So it's about judging less the outside circumstances. For me, I'm not talking physical. I'm not talking any physical things. I'm talking soul. You know, when I talk about intuition and fate, I'm talking on a soul level. What do our souls want? I had a retreat guest at my home, and I called her an alien. I was like, you're an alien. She's like, okay. And I envisioned her. She had so many crazy experiences in this lifetime. And I feel like, I'm like, okay, I told her, I'm like, the way I perceive you is that there's a big check, like a list. And she was like, I want this experience. And she just checked marked everything. I want that. I want that. I want a little of this. I want a little of this. I want a little of this, you know? And then she came to Earth and she's like, I can handle it, you know? And then she came to Earth and it's rough. Like I say that often too, just in my human form, like, oh, I want this relationship. This will be great for my soul. And then I'm in it and I'm in excruciating pain. I'm still dealing with heartbreak. It's like, oh my gosh, just for one little choice I made. But there's people who I think have come to Earth with a whole list of things that they're like, I want to experience. And I don't know. You're asking me my belief. You know, war could be one experience. Seeing such extreme diversity on Earth, you know, like we're all on Earth. We all are living in our own reality and our own little bubble. Me and my reality is very different from someone an hour away in the same country, in the same province. Like, we're all in our own. Oh, Meg, so great. Well, thanks. I love this. Thank you, Meg. I just read yours now. She goes, man, I gotta say, this is one of the oddest lives I've ever been to since the beginning of Insight Timer Live. Jenny's like, yup. I love that. Well, thanks. Daddy's like, these lives are great. Keep them coming. I'm coming back every day. And I took many months off, right? I wasn't here for like 8 months. And it's like, now I'm back, and join me if you want. Every live, Jenny and May I have no idea what we're going to talk about. And that's what's fun. It's bringing us into the present moment and just creating a space to talk about anything. The oddest lives ever. I love that. Well, I hope you come back and ask more great questions. You guys now are writing a lot of stuff. Yes, yellow butterflies. Yes, there's a butterfly on here too. And I'm wearing my yellow butterfly shirt today. Yes. uh, yes. Meg, JD, I would like to hear more about what you believe honestly. Even if it's weird, laugh out loud, that's okay. Otherwise, you're brave for being a conduit, I guess. Yeah, it's terrifying, Meg. It's terrifying. And you know what, Meg? I don't know if this is your first live here. Again, I'm talking very cosmic out there. I feel like in many lifetimes, I've been silenced, or I've been shamed, or I've not been allowed to speak or sing. And in this lifetime, it's come very clear that I'm not going to silence myself anymore. I'm not saying bad things. I'm saying beautiful things. I'm saying, like, come on, guys, wake up. We're responsible for our lives. Let's have compassion. Don't be victims. Like, I'm not spreading negativity, right? So it's like, I don't want to be silenced again in this lifetime. And yeah, strong muscles. Thanks, Shauna. So but it's been decades of me gaining that confidence, Meg. Decades and also decades of gaining confidence in my own intuition. Because I used to always be looking for outside, what do you think, validation? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Letting outside people make decisions for me. And it's like, no, I have my own inner compass. I know what my soul needs. My body tells me, my intuition tells me, my gut, my intuitive knowing, like, messages, it all comes through if I'm open. And we all have that. This is not just me. I'm not special. You guys, all of the meditators here, almost 100 of you, we all have that. There's nothing different about me. So I just want to remind you guys, this is why I come on here. I'm just there to, like, a conduit. I just want to be like, guys, wake up. You have this. You have this. You have this. And life is so much easier. Life is so much easier. There's so much less struggle when you just follow your intuition. Yeah. Yeah, your voice is heard. Thank you, PJ. Be free, JD. Sing during one of your lives. Maybe I will. Could you imagine who that'd be? Ooh, that'd be next level. That might be like next year, guys. That might be next year. Okay, people took all this time to write, and I really want to read that because this is so precious that you guys took the time to write. Yeah. Yeah. So Meg said, sorry, this was 10 minutes ago. Privileged people can also be miserable, feel suffering, and you're saying, yeah, that's the thing. That's a religious concept. I don't know what religion that is, but I don't believe my soul chose to live here or there or anywhere. I'm here because of my ancestors and their ancestors and North American settlement and evolution for me. Yeah, great. PJ says, how about we do not look for others' definition of karma? How about what it means for us, each of us intuitively, in that voyage of fate and destiny for each of us? As Robert Frost said poetically, took the road less traveled, and that made all the difference. Exactly. It's about knowing. It's about finding your own perception of it, but it's a fun topic to think about and reflect on. Yeah, and so Meg says, yeah, karma means different things to different religions, different Buddhism, Hinduism, and others. Yeah. And so Lilith says, I hear that, PJ, but I think it's very important to observe and study all perspectives people have shared through history, especially the great teachers from my faiths, many faiths, from many face, but with an open and questioning mind feels more and more important in these times. Exactly. Good point, Shauna. Donnie says, good point, Shauna. I can almost guarantee that anyone we call privileged has had pain and suffering in their life. And when we compare pain and suffering, we lessen people's experience, and that's never fair. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a big thing. Yeah. 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 So the saying is, if you've been to touristy locations, you have to go to beaten path to less safe areas to see the struggle, for sure. Oh yeah, I don't take tourists, but like I'm with buses. I'm I was in Morocco, and they're like, "Oh, do you want first class or second class?" And I was like, well, I want to be in second class. Like I want to like I'm here to hang out with the locals. I want to see how locals. And the second class was very comfortable, but when I travel, yes, I live. When when I was talking about blissed out people, it was the Shuar Indians in the Ecuadorian Amazon. So I lived with them in their home, eating yucca and bananas and helping them. And so living their experience. And I was sharing with them, I was like, you guys, you understand how abundant you are. Like, you have more money than we do. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, like any money I gave them, they had. And they didn't need money because the whole jungle behind them was full of water and food and like wildlife that they would kill and eat and like abundance for them. Whereas I'm like, us in North America, we don't have money. We're in debt and like we don't own things. Like, we don't have, we need money to like go buy food. We don't have an abundance of like nature behind us, So I hear you. I try and, stay with locals and live with locals and live their experience as much as possible, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, what else do you guys have to say? Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for joining on, I guess, one of the oddest lives. This was unique, let's say that. We talked about many topics. It's like whatever gets you guys, whatever sparks you into some conversation. And it's fun just to reflect, there's no like right or wrong answer. It's just, hey, a moment in your day, you guys allocating such precious time. Like time is so precious, we can never get this time back. You guys are allocating this time to connect and just to reflect on your perceptions of these really unique and vast topics. And so every live, the people who show up regularly can maybe, really confirm every live is randomly different. And I just kind of talk about maybe what's alive for me. I have a plan and then something happens in my life, or I read a book, or I experience something, or I meet someone, or something happens in my life and I talk about it. And all I can do right now is share stories from my own experience. As I can only share just my truth and my short, small experiences that I've had, and I love to learn from other people's experiences, especially people's struggles. So I don't have to relive all the struggles. I can learn from other people's lessons. So Melissa says, I love you in your lives, and I'm happy you're back, JD. That's sweet, Melissa. Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement. These are really fun for me. I really like being on here, and I will be back again today. I hope you guys will join me, and I'm not even going to put a topic or a theme because I find that way too limiting for our plan. Yeah, this is why I like the idea of yellow butterfly. Time is irrelevant. It just goes about doing what it does to live life to full potential, and that gives beauty to all. Yes, last week we were talking about divine signs and how I'm really guided by animals and messages of animals, and how our ancestors can come through animal signs. And so I was talking about the yellow butterfly, right? So thanks, guys. It was so nice being with you today, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.